This is the Poddy with Serene and Pearl. Get it right, Poddy.
Hey, get on in here to the Trim Healthy podcast with, of course, Serene and Pearl, queens of wisdom and chaos. But with us today is our special guest and director of the THM coaching program, Amy Gaskin. Huge round of applause in the audience.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys,
Get
quiet
that
down.
mic right in
Quiet
there,
down.
Amy.
Yes,
need
ma'am.
to hear your beautiful Southern girl voice.
Yeah, tell
got
her
it.
off about her mic. Leave me alone.
What are you doing, Amy Gaskin?
Hey, I'm chilling with you guys.
Right on. Why are you here?
I recorded some videos for the coaching
Let
program,
me turn.
and I'm here to be on the potty with you.
Yeah,
And
well,
we have a big old meeting tomorrow.
Amy is in
we do.
town. We
Big
want
old
to utilize her because, she is our, what do you call it, director of coaching?
Yeah.
You are heading up a whole new program, and we're going to do a separate whole podcast on that because this new coaching program for THM that's coming out, it's birthing, is just so exciting and so
good.
incredible. And it's going to impact so many thousands of mamas that may want to be coached or may want to be coaches, right?
That's right.
But let's not talk about
Nope.
that.
Not yet.
Are there secret things? Hey, it's time for the banter, the part you hate, but we love.
We do have a secret.
We have a secret.
But Amy is you're like one of the world's best trim healthy coaches. So while you're here, we just want to pick your brain. We want to.
We've already picked her brain. I'm telling you what, she's on holiday because she's staying out in the cabin on our land, beautiful cabin. And is she sleeping in amongst the linen sheets? No, she's walking in the rain.
Hey.
Getting her
Worked a
steps
little
in.
bit too. I can't help it.
Yeah,
We do have her husband in the
Amy's
studio
husband,
audience.
Wes,
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's a
Wes.
strong, silent man in the background to support this.
Good
amazing-
description, yes.
He looks
Yeah,
like the
I have one of
epitome
those too, and he's a
athleticism.
strong, silent man. They're the best kind.
Yeah.
Sorry, Denny.
The strong silent. Yeah, obviously I'm not.
Yeah, my man's strong and silent too, right, Pearl? I'd say. The only non-strong and silent in the room, I think, would be Dan.
No, I'm strong,
Yeah, you're strong.
but I'm not silent.
No.
You're medium, Dan. I think that's very
Oh.
strong. But hey, Amy brought
You meant medium silent, not medium strong, right?
I'm just,
You're 100% strong, Dan. You're just medium silent.
I feel quite virulent and strong.
But Amy brought wisdom today that you guys are we are all gonna benefit from.
Can I just read the post that I made?
Yeah, you.
Is that
can,
all right?
Yeah.
And we can talk?
Yeah. And I tell you why, and I do a lot of reading on this potty too, because if you've written something in the flow,
Yeah.
you can't do it better. You can't say it
Right.
better. So you just want to bring the anointing of when it was written.
Yep.
When it was birthed. Go for it.
And this was a couple weeks ago. Okay, here we go.
The meat! When we really get down to business. But don't hate us for the rabbit trails.
This one's not about the outside. It's about what's changed on the inside. The confidence I've gained since learning about and living the Trim Healthy Mama lifestyle. Out of this world. Recently, I was chatting with some other Trim Healthies, and we all kept coming back to one thing: confidence. Not perfection, not a magic number on the scale, but the kind of confidence that comes from choosing to care for your body and your soul. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or lacking confidence, I want to tell you something loud and clear. And this is where the starts with one comes from. Start with one meal. Then 10 days later, add another one that's on plan. You don't have to do everything all at once. That lie is straight from the enemy, and I'm not here for it. One glass of water, one on-plan veggie, one choice that honors your health. That's all it takes to begin. I'm 43 years old. I really wasn't planning on reading this part. I'm going to do it anyway.
Just go with the
I'm
spirit,
43
Amy.
years old, and this past weekend, I stood on stage, emceed a graduation, and rocked a dress I wore with confidence. Not because I looked perfect, but because I felt strong. I felt worthy. I felt well. And the picture I used was for Wes, but
I know.
I
was
posted it in
very
the THM
sexy
group because it's
picture.
girls.
I said your husband must be a very happy guy.
I said I tell him that all the time. So that post, it was just... And this morning I had a lot of reflection too, thanks to the awesome cabin. But I don't think women stop long enough to ponder or even troubleshoot stuff. I see that a lot in coaching. I'm like, y'all just need to slow down for a second, and look at what you're doing right, because all we can see is what we're failing at, bless you.
It's so
Yeah.
true, that focus. But can we, for new people in the room, I know you've been on our podcast before and shared your
Yeah.
story, but I listened to it and I need to hear it again. So that post of you reflecting on the confidence and strength you've gained, take us back to when you were a different woman and you had different thoughts in your head and you had a different body. Can you take us back there, and what was that woman thinking and feeling?
So I'd love to bring that up, because people see me now and they don't know what I looked like then, and so, or acted like or felt like. But I was extremely unhealthy. Wes, we had a bunch of kids and he would work all day, and by the time he got home, I was either had already been chilled out on the couch because I was in so much pain and so tired and all this stuff from being so unhealthy. And he would just do everything. He cooked, he cleaned, and I just went to bed early because I couldn't.
What were your health issues?
So I still have Hashimoto's, still dealing with that. I was in surgical menopause with no hormones.
Wow.
And now Kiora, thank you so much for saving the day. A lot of autoimmune issues, inflammation for days, everything. I had even inflammation between my ribs. It was the weirdest thing, very weird. Just a lot of things like that. They thought that I had lupus. They thought that I had sarcoid, which is a lung thing. Just all these crazy stuff. They even were like, this is just Amy disease. Like, we don't know what it is, but it was inflammation, truly. And so, I wasn't athletic like I am now. I wasn't, I couldn't think clearly. I definitely wasn't confident. Major depression, anxiety, just a lot of things like that. And
because when I look at you, I don't know, Serene, but I think the sporty Amy, I
I
think
know.
you're the person that got picked for the teams her whole
No,
life.
ma'am.
That
No,
wasn't
she
true.
was the
No.
one that was like going to get a full scholarship from
Yeah.
for volleyball through Harvard or Yale or something, and
For
she was
volleyball.
smart at the same time.
maybe for good grades.
Okay, so she
But
got the
but
good
you
grades.
have it all, right? Because you're going to go study because you're smart, but that you're athletic at the same time. It's like you know,
So that
you had
wasn't
everything.
that was not Amy, no.
true.
No.
And at that time, back at this time when you were so inflamed that your
Yeah.
husband had to do everything when he got home, were you this weight? Were you overweight?
Oh, I was not this weight. I was
Yeah.
I was 160, 165.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh my goodness. So that was how many years ago, Amy?
That was 2016.
So we're 8 years in now.
Yeah.
And so it started with one thing for you.
Yeah.
What was the one thing?
CrossFit.
Okay, that's right.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yep.
So it wasn't, this is your THM journey, but it actually didn't start with THM.
It did not.
Yeah. I
did
love
not.
that. There's stepping stones to things.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is CrossFit like the cross? Like, is this a Christian thing? I've always heard CrossFit.
Negative.
What's cross? I don't-
You're crossing weightlifting with all the
It's
different
like juggling.
things,
Juggling fuels, you're
gymnastics and all kinds
juggling
of stuff.
all
Yeah.
kinds of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're cross training. That's the idea.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But I did stop going to CrossFit at the end of last year
But-
because of different things.
Right, but it was
it's still
an important part
huge.
of your journey. Why
Huge.
was it so huge? Like someone's listening today and they're like,
Yeah.
well, I don't think I'm going to take up CrossFit.
Yeah, and you probably
But-
might not should, and that's okay.
But
it
why
was
was
just
it so
something-
empowering?
I think it was like a really drastic step. And like I just needed to do something. And I had a friend, she actually was a grad student when I was in college and taught me. So we had a funny relationship like that or whatever. But, I saw her in the grocery store and she's like, you really should come. And that months went by. And finally I was like, I'm going to come. And I went, and it was just like family. And
So it was community.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%, which is a huge part of Southern and
Yeah.
Healthy, and now the coaching program is community. But they took care of you. You weren't going to get hurt. Really slowly walk you through those one step, the little baby steps, and I truly that laid a huge foundation for everything I've done.
Oh wow! So can I ask you a question? Did you get on the hormones before going to CrossFit though?
No,
Wow! So you went with absolutely tanked
Why
cellular
didn't
gusto.
why didn't they put you? They took your uterus and your ovaries.
Yes.
And why did they
Everything.
not give you hormones? Was that the time when everyone was just afraid or
no.
something?
So
you
they
were
had
a young
a
woman.
potential pulmonary embolism. So,
Okay.
but it ended up maybe not, and I've had a lot of doctors that say but they were nervous to do that for blood
Yeah.
clots. So
So I went through menopause and didn't get on hormones straight away. So I know that feeling, but that was a slow
yeah,
decline.
and I was 29 when I had the surgery.
So that was a slow
How
decline.
old were you in
I know,
your
it was a panic.
desperate moment? Like, I
You
have
were-
to do something. So you plunged into CrossFit.
Yeah.
How old were you?
I don't know. I can't math that.
So,
Okay.
but it was
20,
like
30. Good
okay,
job.
so 5 years
33,
later. So
34.
hold on, but I need to know this. I did the slow decline to menopause before I got on hormones. You woke up a 29-year-old woman, no
Nothing.
hormones.
I was a basket case.
What?
It was
Yes.
awful.
I mean, from poor eating or
it was awful.
Why?
No,
Well,
they
no,
take
took
your
my
ovaries. She lost
from the
all her
surgery.
estrogen, her testosterone,
Yeah,
her
all gone.
progesterone. I mean, I'm
Y'all
almost
should all send Wes a present because he deserves it.
Speechless,
Like,
Wes.
He really.
your everything went. I bet your
was
sex drive
awful.
went.
Oh, it
I
was
bet your
awful.
brain power went. I
Yeah.
bet your skin dried up.
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
taking
And
the
you're
woman out of the
29.
woman.
Yeah.
Yes, you took the woman out of the
Yeah.
woman, and you had to endure that. I just want to sit here and cry
Yeah.
for
But do you see you can overcome it?
you. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's amazing. I am wowed.
Did food, like, is it poor food choices led to a lack of health? Was that the main thing, or was there other genetic things mixed in?
Probably both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was raised on Hamburger Helper, and we ate a lot cleaner when we started having kids, but it wasn't like I do now. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you started CrossFit and someone introduced you to Trim Healthy,
yeah, my
right?
best friend.
Your best friend, not the CrossFit girl.
Nope.
Someone else.
Yep.
And you still at that time had no hormones, right?
Correct.
So you just did this. Okay, so just the principles of Trim Healthy
Yes.
somehow worked for you,
Correct.
despite Hashimoto's, despite
Correct.
no hormones.
Correct.
Had anything worked? Had you been a dieter before?
No.
So this was just like, I'm going to try something different that's not Hamburger Helper.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was the surgery like life saving? What made
Well,
that
I
happen?
had a lot of cysts, ovarian cysts, a lot of pain, and
Okay.
we did a lot of. There was like an exploratory, like pre to the surgery required, that kind of stuff to make sure it was really necessary. But yeah.
Did you know as a 29-year-old woman what would be in store for you losing your female
Oh,
hormones?
absolutely.
So they did not educate you.
No. Oh no. Well, and I want to say this since we're talking about this.
I'm just reeling.
I really think it was me getting my tubes tied that started everything.
Okay, yeah. That
So if
stops the
anybody's thinking
oxygen.
about this, not telling you what to do,
Interesting.
but I think it's important to really think through that first.
Wow.
Because
What's physically happening?
I
there?
don't know if this is true or not. It's the way my brain works.
Yeah.
But like if you cut off where the eggs are flowing through, there's going to be a problem.
Right.
Your
Well, it
tubes are
takes
being
away. What do
tied.
they say? I've read
It
some
does
books that,
reduce
like
the estrogen
yeah,
as well.
50% of
Yeah.
blood supply, which reduces
Yep.
ovarian function
Yep.
by about 50%.
So I had it looked like grapes. Like when they would do little scans, just built up lots of inflammation in there too.
Yeah.
So
And when they ruptured, it was
when
so
can
painful.
I ask you this, because I just think
Oh.
there's so many tens of thousands of women listening, and maybe they're not in menopause, or if they're menopause they're relating.
Yeah.
When did you start to discover what it felt like to have no hormones? Can you tell us what that felt like? Was it a week later, 2 days later, 2 months?
Oh, gosh.
And what did it feel like?
I think we were always really stressed because of so many kids and they were so
Yeah.
close together. And then I never knew what it was to feel good.
Okay.
So I was always operating in pain or
Okay.
in stress. And so it was just what I
Yeah.
did. And I think when I started CrossFit, I began to see energy.
Okay.
I began to see that I could do good, fun things, and I wanted to take better care of myself. And there were, I think, whenever big emotional things happen, like with the kids, one of the biggest things that I regret is how I acted. But I know it was because of the lack of estrogen and
Yeah,
everything, and
right.
because you really lose control of yourself. You
Yep.
don't. You
But
can't do that.
essentially, I hear what you're saying. You didn't go from a place of feeling good with all the great hormones and feeling great to suddenly
No.
not feeling good. You swapped. You swapped pain and inflammation. You got kind of rid of one problem, but you woke up
Exactly.
with another.
That's right.
Right. And I think when you said you had anxiety, you had depression.
Yes.
Maybe that was a little bit there. I don't know, but I think that's a common menopausal symptom, right?
absolutely.
The anxiety,
Absolutely.
the
the
just
brain fog.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what was when your friend introduced you to Trim
Mm-hmm.
Healthy, this one thing you keep talking about? What was the one thing that you first started doing? You've found community in your exercise and you're moving your body, your self-care, right? What was the one thing you did
Well, I
differently?
don't think that you'll be surprised, but I just did it all.
Oh, you did it all.
I just went all the plan on plan food on time was my what I tried. I think something, because I always ate breakfast, lunch, supper, no problem. So the afternoon snack was kind of different, but I think that helped me the most to give you the energy to do what you need to do for the evening and everything. You know, and then just paying attention to protein. I didn't know what we know now, you know.
Because those were early days in Trim Healthy.
Exactly. But it was really just focusing on mama and taking care of mama. And I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. And I try to preach this a little bit, maybe too much, but you know, mamas just really have a hard time, women in general, I think, of taking care of themselves. But if you don't, it's just like that oxygen mask. Y'all talk about it all the time on the airplane. You have to put the oxygen mask on the adult before you can help the child. And I just think that is something that needs to be said every day, because it's still not getting through to some people. So
were you a homeschooling mom, or your kids? Okay, so I see this, I think, with many women, but especially with homeschooling women, and I was one of them. And yes, we want to put our children first. You know, we're mothers. But I see it. I see women living through
their children.
What if their children have to learn, do this, and they're neglecting themselves.
But also, I think as a homeschooling mom, I can say this so I feel like it's not looking down my nose at homeschooling mothers,
No,
but it's almost like a lot of pressure on the children too, that the woman is living their happiness and their youth again and their vitality through the children.
That's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure and control. And I also think a child watching on too of a mother that looks like she does not have the same vitality. It almost doesn't teach a child well. It's almost like, I don't necessarily want to have a bunch of children and stay home and homeschool, because it doesn't look like a fun life for me. Like,
I have a lot of friends
the future hope doesn't look bright.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are homeschooled, and they've grown up to say, I will have 2 kids max, and they will be in public school, because I think they had those negative experiences.
Right. So if we put our oxygen masks on and have that vitality and show what a vibrant woman can be.
You don't have to be a martyr.
Right.
No, that's it. You don't have to be a martyr. I think there were times in my life I think that, but you know, looking back, I don't think there's any shame in for a woman experiencing that right now. You're doing your best.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You're giving your
Well, you don't know
everything.
what you don't know either. So hopefully we're bringing them some peace.
Well, they're thinking of their children first, and that's the most beautiful place. We're meant to think of others first, but really to think of others, they want joy and energy around them. So it is thinking of them to put your oxygen mask on.
I mean, now that the internet's out, people are like, hey, you might want to take care of your mental health and your physical body. But like pre-internet, boy, that was the Wild West. You just suffered. I mean, men and women. Women would just suffer.
And you didn't speak about how much you were suffering, really.
Women
You just suffered.
Women would get beat in the home. And like, you remember there's this interview with Sean Connery. Have you seen this?
No.
And it's Barbara, what is it, Barbara Walters?
Yeah.
And she's like, now, Sean, in a previous interview, I believe you said you smack your women. And he was very methodical. He goes, if it's appropriate, I give him a schmack. And she's like, and have you changed your position? And he's like, no, I haven't at all. I mean,
how many
just
years ago was
calmly talking about beating.
That was Barbara Walters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, just
these days, off to jail with you, quick.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like no one ever like.
And so it should be.
I feel like we're so
of course it should be.
we're so much better off in many ways. I mean, I know the world's a lot worse in some ways because of the internet, but there's people watching this podcast.
Some things that are better for sure. And I love this. You know, I think we homeschooling women have been some of the last to embrace self-care.
Agreed.
Some of the last.
Because we start thinking it's selfish.
Yes.
But it's one of the
It's the most
least
unselfish
selfish thing you can do.
Well, and for me, I have 3 teenage daughters. Well, Bella's 20, so I have a 20, 18, and 16, and then 2 little boys. And one of my jobs as a mom is to be a good role model for them.
Yes.
For Mother's Day, my youngest daughter wrote the sweetest little note, just thanking me for teaching her how to fuel and how to take care of herself. I mean, it was the sweetest thing ever. She is the most.
Huge, Amy.
It is, and I was like, that was better than any gift you could have bought me. Like just saying that. And she was like, well, it was true. I should say it more. I was like, you should say it more. You know,
So
but
beautiful.
like, you know, she'll be able to do that for her kids. And it's just, that is what I want to pass on. Not that.
Not that you got
Not-
all the grades right and you
Right,
did all the
that's right.
credits and all the stuff and
Right.
all the co-ops and
that's for the children, and that's so beautiful. But we've been learning, through the
Yeah.
Laura Doyle Empowered Wife podcast, just how, getting all the, the socks folded and the everything washed and ironed. Or no one irons these days, but
ma'am.
all the meals and maybe the freezer meals and getting all the curriculum done, everything tick, 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 tick. We think, okay, we're going to be pleasing as a wife. But a husband would rather just a happy wife that's
Right.
not miserable when he comes home and has a little energy for
That's
him. So
right.
it's like we are thinking selflessly, but really it's not the gift that our husband or our children necessarily want or need.
Yeah, those actions aren't what we need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm often like, nap up.
Nap
Daddy's home
up.
at 5.
so good, Daddy. Just nap
Well
up.
said.
You want your woman slaving all day, and it's nap time at 5.
That's hilarious.
Man, I get anxiety when I start to see my wife head upstairs to bed. I'm like, where are you going? I don't want to do the night shift.
That's funny.
Oh, that's good. But so we go back to this little one thing. But you did it
Yeah.
all. But you teach your clients what not to do at all. What?
No.
So do you feel like you started
I
off too
crashed
much
and
of a
burned,
bit?
though.
Okay, you did. Even with Trim
yeah.
Healthy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kitchen
tell us
fatigue
about that.
was awful. We talked about that last time I was here, I think, a little bit. And, I now
yeah.
do my batch cooking every Tuesday at 10 a.m. If you want to call me, Serene, I'm not going to answer the phone because I'm batch cooking my food.
Yeah. You're amazing.
And so that's something that's so awesome, in my opinion, is because in an hour, I can cook all of our suppers and we have food all week. And yes, we eat leftovers and he doesn't care. And it's great. Right?
Yes.
That's right.
So do you feel like you have more discipline now? Like,
Yes.
is discipline the key to getting a lot of the
For sure.
long-term
The
results?
better word is dedication. That's a little
Yeah,
sweeter for
discipline
people
upsets
to.
me.
Yeah, discipline hurts.
Yeah,
your
because
And I
feelings.
think
discipline's
everybody's
just
different,
willpower.
right?
I love the word
I'm
discipline.
an all person.
Yeah.
I think that works for my kind of personality. However, I'm burnt out now. I don't hardly cook, but it's because of all the recipe books you have to I just, unless I have to cook, the joy is not in it anymore.
Yeah, but you're burned out, but you don't go back to sugar because sugar
No,
wasn't in
no.
your
I just go
past.
back to just eating the most
But,
simplest
but most
yuck
ladies
yum.
are going
Yak
to.
yum.
They're going to go
Yes.
back to
Yeah.
Hamburger Helper or whatever.
They are.
Whatever.
Yeah,
They are.
yeah. Most people revert.
Because they revert to
You're
their
an exception
comfort.
to the
What's
rule.
your comfort? Granola and yogurt. That's
Yeah.
healthy. No
Yeah.
sugar.
Kefir and granola right here.
Yes.
Yeah, I revert to mac and cheese bowls.
Yeah. So burnout did happen, and there was even a moment that I stopped eating on planned food on time. And Wes was like, "Girl, what are you doing? Because something's not right." He's like, "Get back on it. What do we got to do?"
You felt emotionally. The sugar got the best of your brain pathways. You think, or
I don't
what?
know that I got on sugar, but I mean necessarily sugar, like eating cakes and ice cream or whatever.
not
but
water Pearl?
I wasn't on plan all the time.
All right.
So that was something, and then also, it was just that mindset, and I also didn't have community, and that that's a really, really important part of my puzzle, and I'm gonna.
Well,
I'm
how
gonna
did you
fight for that.
find community then? You became a coach because you realized other women need community. But how did you find your own Trim Healthy community when you had a friend,
Mm-hmm.
but then you kind of got overwhelmed and you ditched THM altogether? How did
I
you?
just started talking about it. I mean, and this is what we want. I know we're not supposed to talk about the coaching program, but this is what we want. We
that's
want them
all right.
going into
Yeah.
their community and talking about THM. At the gym, I was talking about THM. I'm going to be a coach. I'm
Yeah.
saving to be a coach. I talked about it all the time. THM saved my life. We need protein, reduce your inflammation, blah, blah, blah. I talked about it at church. I was meeting in my home, and then when we kind of outgrew that, we were at my neighbor's house. And so that's what it was. So there's a lot of people in our area that still do it, or they definitely understand it.
Okay, but how did you get back from, oh my goodness, I'm too overwhelmed, I'm throwing
Wes
this all
helped
out?
so much.
Your husband
Yes.
was your, okay, so
And
you,
my girls.
You got back and then you developed your own community around you by
Yeah.
encouraging others.
And I knew also that that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
I have to be, like we talked about at your house the other day, I have to be on plan. I cannot go off plan. Like I do not have that. I just can't do that. Like I don't have that
Because
luxury,
you
I
think
guess.
that desire would come back, like
Oh,
if
no,
you
no.
had a
The
slice of-
inflammation would come back in, and the pain
Inflammation.
and all that. No, ma'am.
even
No,
like one
thanks.
piece of tiramisu on a cruise ship.
I can do that.
Okay, yes.
I can, and I can be strong and get right back on plan.
Yes, yes.
But I don't know that I could ever, like, if I wasn't going to be doing THM, I know that I would be so unhealthy, because my alternative would be, standard American diet.
Can I ask you a question? What happens if you're like, oh, I'm going away. It's going to be so hard. It's going to be so difficult. I'm going to some like convention somewhere. I'm going to just take it. I agree it's not. But I'm trying to put myself in someone's headspace. I'm just going to go off for a week and get back on plan. As a coach, what would you say to a client that says, I'm just going to go off for a full week?
You're going to regret it.
Yeah. Yes.
And let's talk it through.
Yeah.
Let's talk it through. Let's really talk about what's
Did
going
you
to
see
be
the
there.
ferocious determination that took over her soul when she said that? Like, that's coach energy. She like locked in with you and was like, you're going to regret it. Like they're I saw these blinders like appear.
Because one tiramisu is different than a week off plan.
Do your clients like it when you get real with them?
They call it sassy Coach Amy.
See, Serene and I have always had a coach, each other. I mean,
especially for our marriages and our parenting.
But even just life, okay? But even with,
I think I need in on that, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this a
But
joke?
even in our diets, I'm ferocious with you when you're too stringent. When you get too serene, I'm just like in your face.
Yeah.
Like, no, you actually need more fats and carbs. You're shredding yourself away with all this exercise. Like,
she gets into my face where I walk away. I'm so sorry, but I feel like I'm a freak of weirdness nature, and I better go and eat really a whole bowl of cream, or the world is going to blow
Well,
up.
she has a high she's made herself have a high metabolism, so I have to be the voice of reason to her, because she's the opposite to everyone else in the world, where she actually needs more sustenance.
Especially if you're going to work out.
For sure.
And so we and she's like that in my life for other ways too.
How many times a week do I call you up and say, is this Empowered Wife Marriage Counseling hotline?
But so we've had each other, so I get it. You have to have community. If you don't have a community, people get a coach. Invest in that, right? Because I see so many people going off plan. Why do you think?
I think they get overwhelmed and stressed out and tired, and they are just like, forget it.
And they don't have
hard.
a sister.
And maybe they don't have a
get in their
sister,
face.
or maybe they do have accountability,
and they just kind of pet them,
or they don't want to listen when advice is given. Because
you
I
have to
could
be
easily,
coachable. You do have
at
to be
first,
coachable.
say, you don't know what you're talking about. Get a different body type than you. Just be quiet. You just, but you have to be you have to be open eared, right?
That's right. Yeah. And I'll tell people, I have a certain group right now that's going on, and there was one precious lady in there, and it was beginning again. I'm beginning again. I'm so ashamed because I'm beginning again.
Yeah.
And I told my sister, and I said, get an appointment with her. I need to talk to her. No
Okay.
charge. We got to get this together. And I started a one thing with her. And for her, listening to her reasons for beginning again, I was like, we don't need to have a batch cooking day.
Yeah.
We don't need to take all the sugar out of your house. We don't need a blah, blah, blah. You need to plan the night before, like right before you go to bed, what you're eating, breakfast, lunch, snack, and supper. Type it out on your little notes and share it in the group. And she's done it every night since then.
Wow.
That's the only way to do it.
I got goosebumps.
It was
And
And
incredible.
has that been changing for her?
Yes.
So
That's
you just,
so good.
That was
Amy,
that one
you
thing.
just got like full of like just like you have a word for her, and it changed.
Well, I pray up. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
pray
doing this on my own. But
Nap up and pray up,
she-
girls.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's when you listen to people's pain points, and you've been doing it as long as I have, you can find their solution pretty fast, typically.
That plan is clutch. Like, if you improv the day, you either starve or you eat terribly. I do.
Right.
Like when
Well, and busy moms. I mean, she's homeschooling several children, and
yeah.
there's always something that happens. So.
Yeah, unless you're going to buy like Kava's best choices
So good.
bowls for the whole crew, which is about $200.
Bajillion, right? I was about to say it's a bajillion dollars.
Unless you're going to do that.
Kava's really yummy. It's not cheap though, eh?
No.
Not cheap.
It's so good. I don't even see the dollars fly away. It's so good.
It's so worth it.
It's so worth
Except
it.
when you find a carver place that don't cook their lentils and they're like rocks.
Oh, the rock lentils. I've had No, that's real. We're at a nice one though.
Yeah.
The Kava, man, when I get done with Kava, I am happy.
Oh, we're so lucky.
I'm
We don't
telling
have
you though,
anything
we
like
were
that
at a
home.
friend's actually our CEO
Yes.
of Cura, a hormone company. We were at his place last night for dinner, and his wife Tony made us.
It's her ministry when she had
We
people
call it
over.
better than Kava.
Oh, it's because
It
the
was-
little sweet potatoes are cut up in like 2mm by 2mm
Oh.
perfect little
I went
squares.
to sleep wondering how much time has she spent cutting those sweet potatoes.
Yes, and then everything was small. The cucumbers, the same little tiny, like dice. That's ginormous. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like a 16th of a dice.
But it was
Yeah.
Kava on steroids. Everything was so fresh and healthy. And even I asked my husband, you know who hates fresh and healthy?
Yeah, hates
organic.
fresh and healthy.
He's allergic
Just fundamentally.
to it. Fundamentally. And
Yeah.
I said to him, and I saw
If a restaurant says fresh and organic, he
No.
will drive the
Yeah.
opposite
Yeah.
It must be
direction.
terrible.
So I saw him load his plate, and it wasn't loaded. Actually, it was small because he could see how fresh and healthy it was.
That's
It was like my
hilarious.
dreams had come true, right? So he didn't even really say anything. I saw him eat the food. Did you hear it? We were all raving. We were like, "This is Carver's nothing on this. Tony, this is so good. You know, it's all so
She had
healthy."
the fresh rock salt and the fresh cilantro
wow.
and this incredible avocado lime
She'd made
dressing, and the chicken was
Wow.
cooked to
the
perfection.
chicken. Okay, so I
Olives,
said to my
everything.
husband,
Oh.
I said to my husband in the car on the way home, because I said, "Were you being polite? I mean, like, what do you really think? Tell me." Because I would never make a meal like that for him. It's not country cowboy, you
Gotcha.
know, Mr.
Yeah.
Straight Pants.
Yeah.
It is not. He's like, "Actually, it was really good."
Oh, he was in.
I couldn't believe
Might be
it.
turning the page.
He might be.
Man, I'm seeing the kava. So I had kava for lunch, and I'm already
Today?
taken back. Yes, with the bowl, and it has the
Did you get the black lentils? They're so good.
yeah, and
Yeah, but hers
tomatoes
would
and
cook so well.
cucumbers. What sauces do you all like from kava? You know, it comes with 3.
I think there's like a jalapeno something.
No, there's
hummus, you know.
The
tzatziki.
tzatziki is
There's
what I would get.
crazy feta. There's and then there's all these like hazira something.
Those are
I
probably
think
not on
it's
plan.
the hazira one.
Are they not?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, so
have a little
anyway,
sugar in
back to
Sorry.
Amy, back to
Kava-
Amy,
kava
off
detour.
cover, back to Amy. Do you have, so that was a homeschooling woman, and we 3 are all relating. Danny, your kids have been in and out of school and homeschooled, mishmash,
Yeah, but
right?
tell you what, Danny was core to the core to the core. He lived out here on the hilltop, wife just with an apron on, children all homeschooled.
Yeah, but
He knows
now
the
he's a
stuff.
city public school man.
I know,
So
but he's got
I
memories.
want to ask, you have a mishmash of clients. Like, you've
Yeah.
got some homeschool, you've got some working mums.
Yeah.
Do they
Single,
have things in
yeah.
common? Do you see a common thread, or are they
They
all
are
different?
female,
Yeah.
and they have a ton of self-doubt. It is.
Is that what's it
widespread.
is? Self-doubt? Yeah?
Yes. And so, like,
The
I'm on a
self-doubt
mission.
is what?
I can't fill in the blank, man. I can't be on plan on vacation. Yes, you can. Blah, 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 blah. I can't, I can't sleep however many hours at night to get what I need. Yes, you can. Blah, 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 blah. I can't ask my mother-in-law to have something on plan for me for supper. Like, I'm like, seriously, you can't ask your mother-in-law that? Can I talk to her? And then also, I'm not worth it. I'm just not. There's so much negative and so much
Now they never
self-bullying.
say I'm not worth it, but people act it,
I
right?
want to
Oh, yeah.
unpack that I'm not worth it business. Is that from like because there's been series of abuses and trauma from the childhood that gives the I'm
I think
not
there's
worth
a lot
it?
of there's a lot of that. Yes. But as a coach, I'm seeing just it's just depression, it's sadness. Maybe their life doesn't look like what they thought it would be. I mean, whose life looks like what they thought it would be, good or bad? And I think it's just across the board. Everyone thinks everybody else is doing better than they are. When the fact of the matter is we're all messed up. We all have problems. And nobody's perfect, like telling my story about what I looked like before. I mean, people are like, oh, I've not seen you before. Okay. I've had people not hire me because I haven't lost 100 pounds. Well, I didn't have 100 pounds to lose. So sorry. Serena and Pearl didn't either. Newsflash, but
I lost all of 15 pounds. Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but you had another part of your story, you see.
Yes.
Of course, I
Yes.
had
And
health
that's where I can
issues.
keep going. And that's fine. If they want a coach that's lost 100 pounds, that's fine. But, going back to the self-worth, and then they doubt, and they've already done so many things. Their husband's already put so much money into blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. I'm going to do one more thing and I'm going to fail again. Well, if you hold on tight to me, I got you, and so I really try to help them see that, and even helping some of the coaches. I've been meeting with them every week and kind of helping them see that too. I've got this.
Well, how do you
troubleshooting
instill a
issue.
sense of worth into
We
a
go
woman?
straight to the Bible.
From,
Yeah.
Straight
It's
to
the
the
only
Bible.
place, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Even to the non-believers, I'm like, just trust me for a second,
Yeah. Do they
Yeah.
accept that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's just sanity, and
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we put different guardrails in place, loving yourself, the fueling, watering, resting, and walking or exercise. You've got to have those things in place to be healthy, and you don't do it all at once.
No, then that's
But
the
you know,
thing.
it's so true because as a Christian, and having grown up in Christian circles my whole life, I feel like it's the average Christian woman, I think, hears things like love yourself, and it sounds so new age, or it sounds so humanistic.
Exactly.
But the Bible says, do unto others as you have done to yourself. And if you don't know how to treat yourself, how do you know how to treat somebody else?
Amen. Yes.
And it's just it's anti-biblical. This like, don't take care of yourself.
I made a post on Instagram, that was like a year ago, and I was saying self-care, self-love, love yourself. And we had Wes has a master's in biblical counseling, marriage and family counseling, something. Anyway, and so we were going to do some coaching with that and everything. And she came back, I thought y'all were Christians. How can you be saying that? I'm like, the Bible also says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you're supposed to love yourself. And that's a hill I die on, because you have to be able to do that. And it goes to the next generation too, and to your community. It's not just about you.
You can't treat others well when you don't have that self-worth. But of course, there's that beautiful balance, right? We have to wear humility and put humility on. And but it's just having a confidence to go out and be able to serve, and to be able to have something to bring.
Yeah, and so you were
that's Christ
talking
to
about
us.
in that post, you now have confidence. But the confidence came from one little step at a time.
It's
each building.
Godfidence, right?
Yeah.
God.
Yes.
Confidence.
I love that.
Well, it's not mine. I stole
each
it from
building.
something I listened to.
Probably
Each
a
building
t-shirt.
upon the rest. Yeah, you know what?
It's taking those little steps. I mean, have you seen the ladder? It's like a ladder with the rungs are like really close. Then you have the ladder where they're feet apart, and it's a lot of effort to get from the next one. But if you put them just really close, you're just going to go right up them.
That's great.
But the biggest thing, I think, with one thing at a time is the mindset that that's going to take too long. I am in a mess. I need help now. I need to lose 50 pounds in 6 months. My doctor said there's a woman get to a very desperate state because of they grew up with certain comfort foods. So, if they're not on a diet, they're reverting back to that typically, and that can inflame them, and they can balloon up very quickly. And I see it all the time. They come into a cafe, and then they're traveling by, and they're like, oh, I want to get re-inspired with Trim Healthy, so I'm stopping by the cafe. And then we hear their story, and they're crying because they're like, I did it, and then life got me off track, and
beginning again.
They come back to it because they know it's doable.
People come back to THM all the time.
But there's that thing that they come back, but they're like, oh, but I'm so tempted to intermittent fast.
Yeah.
Because I need this off now. I need this weight off now. What do you deal with that?
So that's where I would pull Atomic Habits into the conversation, because it's 1% change every day. It's that one thing again. There's a wonderful illustration in that book where there's a dude that wants to break a rock in half. He's hit it 99 times, and then he's just over it because it never broke in half. And he walks away. And the next dude comes up, hits the rock, breaks in half. So if he had just done it one more time, he would have seen the success.
Yeah. I love the whole idea of Atomic Habits, and I've just seen it in my life recently in the fact that I've always wanted to do a pull-up, right? Just a pull-up, but I'm tall, and that means I carry a lot of weight. The more tall you have, there's more weight there. And
I wouldn't know
and
anything
long
about
arms.
that.
No, but long arms, and to be able to do a pull-up is like I'm got a long way to go. But I had a goal for it. But at first, I'm gonna do a pull-up. So I get in the gym, and you strain every neck muscle, and I'm gonna do it, and you're pulling everything. You're just like recovering from this injury for so long, and your blue blood vessels in your eyes because you're so desperate to do it today.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, it's going to take time. So I slowed it all down, right? And at first I jump up from a box, and I just hold it there for as long as I can in the top position. And I'll do that every day for a few months. And then I slowly decided to do the decline. And how slow can I decline it? And maybe I just went zoom the first day. Yeah. But then it was to the point where, it was slower and slower and slower. And it was just over the last couple of years. And now I can rock out pull-ups, multiple in a row. And it was Atomic Habits that got me there. It wasn't, some things you just cannot pull it off with one like giant goal of like I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it fast. No, you're not going to do it
Well,
fast.
you're going to hurt
but
yourself.
just chipping away.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to hurt yourself. But chipping away slowly like that, you wake up one day and like, how did I get here? Because I didn't do anything different. I did a little habit.
That's how I
did a
feel.
little habit.
I feel like that on many aspects of my
Yes.
life. How did I get here? How did I get sitting right here in this room with you guys? How did I get here? It was one decision after another. And that's, y'all talked a lot about this, progress over perfection. A lot of people talk about it, but I know y'all do, and I talk about it a lot too. We can't be perfect. We can't see 50 pounds lost in 6 months by talking about it or wanting it. We have to do it. And you have to do it every single day.
And one thing before we close up here, Amy, which I think has been very beneficial for you and for your clients, what I see in you, what I see you do is you take moments to celebrate what you have achieved so that you're focusing on that. Even if you have hard days too.
I do.
Like, and we all do. I can't do a pull-up yet. It's making me crazy.
Yes, I know, but guess what?
but
When
I'm
I
on
was
my way.
in your years in, I couldn't do it
Right.
either. It's coming.
But
yeah.
it is coming to me. But you keep reminding yourself of what you've attained. What you're no longer that woman whose husband has to come home and do it all. And I think that's huge. That lest we forget, lest we focus on what we haven't achieved yet, right? Because the other day, I've been doing assisted pull-ups for about 6 months now. And the other day, I just knew it. I was going to go to my pull-up bar without the bands, and I could feel it. I was going to do a pull-up.
Yeah.
Just walked over there, and I just, come on, Pearl, let's do it. And it was like, I was so
Guess
disappointed
what?
with
I've
myself.
actually been there, Pearl. I've been there, and it's yours is coming.
I know, and it's coming, and I thought, okay, forget the pull-ups. Pearl, you're just not made for pull-ups. You are an ectomorph. Poor little you. You'll never be like Serene and these other women. You just forget it. Focus on your lower body. You're doing really well. And I was about to give up, Amy.
Don't give up.
No, but
I'm
I'm
gonna be
not
on you
going
now.
to.
It's
Get
the
me
little
on
habit
you.
every day, Pearl. You don't even think you're getting stronger. You don't even think anything. And then all of a sudden, it's just
There
there.
it
No,
is.
because I am made for pull-ups. Pearls for
Yeah.
pull-ups.
That's right.
So I will do it.
Yes.
And
And
I
that's
just
not
think,
the pull-ups that you're going to be wearing at 80 because you ain't wearing those things. You're going to be doing pull-ups at 80.
pull-ups. I'm not going to wear Depends.
Wrong
No,
pull-ups.
wrong pull-ups. You're going for a different kind of
That took
pull-up.
me a
And you're
second.
Yeah, I had
That's so good.
Couple
But yeah, I
seconds.
think it's what we focus on. So, I spend about 5 minutes focusing on that Pearl's not for pull-ups.
Yeah.
It was very sad. And then I got myself out of it, but I think that's what you do when you celebrate your wins and you teach your clients to celebrate their wins. We have to. There's no other
You
way,
have to.
Amy, or we'll quit.
That's right. That's right.
Just gotta.
Yeah. And I love comparison pictures.
Yeah.
That's so good. Love it.
I think
We've already-
coaching is critical. I
Thank you.
don't work out if I'm getting better, but when my son's home for the summer, he's a D1 football player.
Really?
He's
How
your
old is
coach
he?
at that point, right?
He's
Every
20.
summer. He's
Oh
your
yeah,
coach.
all
You
summer.
actually do need a
Probably
coach, Danny.
need a coach.
You're an island to yourself without a coach, and I want you to maybe hire. She doesn't do men, but just hire someone, just to keep yourself from going to the MapCo and buying some Chex Mix or something.
Oh my gosh.
That was too accurate.
Yeah, because you said it on
Oh,
the podcast.
okay. I was like,
He's been told
gift
on.
of prophecy.
Nate is saying we have to stop
It's
because we're
over!
42 minutes. Thank you, Amy. We're going to have
You're
you
amazing,
back
Amy.
often and
Can't wait.
keep coming.
Thank y'all
Yay.
so much.
Bye.